Why play Kassadin Mid? Well, he scales into a late game god. He has ridiculous mobility. He hard counters most AP mages, and he's great at both split pushing and team fighting. However, before he has his ultimate, he's far weaker, and you bring very little CC, relying mainly on your damage. Kassadin's passive is simply that he takes 10% reduced magic damage and ignores unit collision. Kassadin's Q is a point and click ability which deals damage, interrupts channels, and grants Kassadin a shield for 1.5 seconds which will only block magic damage. Kassadin's W firstly has a passive where his attacks deal additional magic damage, which is very helpful when farming. The active is an auto attack reset which makes his next attack deal additional damage and restore a small amount of missing mana. If this is used against a champion, it instead restores a massive amount of missing mana. Kassadin's E has a passive where the ability cannot be used until it has 6 charges. Charges are gained when any ability is used near him, including his own abilities. The active throws out a cone of damage which deals damage and slows. Kassadin's ultimate makes him teleport to a nearby location, dealing damage to anything in that area. This ability has an incredibly short cooldown, but each time he uses this ability again within 15 seconds, it will double the mana cost and deal additional damage. Both the mana cost and the damage can stack up to 4 times. This means the more you use it, the higher the damage will be, but this will absolutely eat into your mana incredibly fast if spammed. For combos, you want to ultimate onto your target using auto attack into W before using your Q and E, which will leave them slowed for your next ultimate. For Masteries, take this. Electrocute enhances your burst damage, and Presence of Mind is all the mana regen you need. For build order, start Door and Shield Pot if needed, or Dark Seal refillable if you can, before getting an early tier and tier 2 boots. From here, you can get Everfrost if you want the CC, or Ludens if you want the raw damage. Following this, complete your Archangel and get a Zhonya's before finishing your build with any of these. For skill order, start Q, then W, then E, before maxing Q, then E, then W, taking ult whenever you can. There is an argument for maxing E, but Q is far easier to get damage out of. For summoners, take Flash and Teleport, but if it's not a split push game, Ignite is a great option. Starting the game, you're looking to farm to your level 6 as safely as possible. One of the best ways to do this is to be constantly poking your opponents down with Qs. As it's point and click, it's guaranteed free damage, and between Presence of Mind and your W, you have great mana sustain. So there's not much stopping you from absolutely spamming this on your opponent on cooldown. And if they're a mage, timing it for when they go for their poke gives you a shield for a very free trade. And of course, if you can ever Q into E, they will be slowed, allowing you to auto into W for a burst of damage with Electrocute, along with getting tons of mana restored. When you hit level 6, you want to turn up the pressure, jumping on any mage and bursting them out of your lane. If you're not able to burst out your mid laner, you want to roam top or bot to get a second lane ahead. Entering the mid game, the meta at the moment is the bot lane will go mid, which is brilliant for you as you're an absolute threat in a side lane with teleport available. Kassadin is brilliant in this role for 2 reasons. Firstly, his damage is incredibly high, and anyone who responds will have to deal with constant poke and constant all-in threat. And secondly, if you're not going to win the split push, it's almost impossible to chase Kassadin over the multiple walls he's going to jump over. Entering late game teamfights, you want to play the assassin role. Wait until after the fight has started before looking to jump onto their flank to blow up a squishy. After your combo, rely on your Zhonya's to keep yourself safe. This stalls out so you get your ultimate back off cooldown, which you can then use to get to safety or jump onto the next foe.